What's up, Dragon Brood? We are looking at deck 9 of 10 in our free Arena Deck budget upgrade series. And today, this is the one I was not looking forward to doing, I'm not gonna lie. So first, let me ask kindly, because I'm gonna need it on this one. Please remember to share the video, like the video, comment, do all that good stuff. Because not just myself, but every content creator that does beginner type stuff like this doesn't get all that many views, and it's much less than the other content we would do. And I've been doing, I don't know, 4 or 5 days of this now, getting all these videos out, and definitely am getting less views than normal, but this is more for the community than anything else, so please support it. Though today we will be looking at a red-blue deck they call Fireworks, and it is not pretty. Yeah, so this is a pile of cards. We'll call it a deck because it's 60 cards. But oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, where to start with this one? Okay, so these are all the things they included. The Arcane Investigator, it's 2 mana, 2/1. You have to pay 6 to get to roll a die to even draw a card. Like, no, we're not playing this. This is going to be the first thing cut. Into the Royal, at least reasonable, don't have a problem with it. Thundering Rebuke does deal 4 damage to a creature or planeswalker. For 2 mana, it's a sorcery speed spell, but that's fine. I don't mind this either. Expressive Iteration. This card's pretty solid. We could even play a third, potentially. It's an uncommon, so we could get to fit it in there without too much issue. Kaza, Royal Chaser, 2 for 1/2 flying haste, and you can tap it, and then the next instant or sorcery costs X less, where X is the number of wizards you control. I mean, if we have enough pricey spells, it could make it worth it. So that's, if we decide to play Kaza, that's going to somewhat affect what the rest of our deck looks like. Prismari Pledge Mage. This is tough, right? Because if you're trying to do the wizard type deck, there's not that many good wizards. And this one kind of has to get played. It's a 3/3 for 2, which is nice. It has Defender, which means you can't attack with it. But if you play a spell, then you can attack with it. I don't know. This one maybe makes the cut. We'll see. Demon Bolt is fine. Deals 4 damage to a creature or planeswalker. You can go ahead and foretell it, so you can do it cheaply. Again, it's not great, but it's fine. You can at least do it at instant speed. Agar, the Freezing Flame. He is a giant, but also a wizard. And if you are using your Thundering Rebukes and your Demon Bolts to kill things that are like 1, 2, or 3 toughness, you do at least get a card for your troubles, and that makes it somewhat worth it. Prismari Command is actually a pretty good card here. I don't mind this card. I think this deck actually wants more of this. 1, because it's a removal. 2, because it actually helps you dig deeper or make mana if necessary. Umara Mystic. It's fine. I mean, it's a 1/3, so it's not that exciting. It does fly. However, it does get +2/+0 to a turn for each instant, sorcery, or wizard spell that you cast. So that's kind of nice. Kind of nice. I don't know how much we're going to lean on this card, but everything's going to be a wizard, so there's that. Archmage Emeritus. I don't hate this card. It'd really come down to how many spells we end up with in the final list. But this one's actually okay because it does let you draw cards, which is fine. Demilich. This is a card that I think a bunch of people wanted to be really good in Standard, and it just hasn't been so far. I mean, it's 4 blue mana. You can reduce it by playing spells. Like, maybe you get it back out of the graveyard. Like, it's fine. It happens to be a skeleton. I mean, well, it is a skeleton, but it happens to be a wizard. But I don't know. I don't know if this fits or not. We'll see. Basalt Ravager. This is cool. Deals X damage to a target equal to the number of wizards you control, and it's a 4/2 creature. So I don't love that it's only 2 toughness, but the fact that it'll come down a lot of times, deal 3 damage, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Maelstrom Muse. This thing's just a mess. I mean, it's a 4 mana 2/4 flyer. That's already not great. And then the next instant or sorcery spell costs less, where X is the Maelstrom Muse's power, so it's going to be 2 less. So like you're paying 4 to basically get a discount of 2 on every spell after that, but like a lot of your spells don't really cost a bunch of colored mana anyway. So yeah, this one's probably getting cut. Faraday's Fireball. This my problem with this is it's just worse than the other options you have available. You can pay 5 to deal 5 to a creature or planeswalker. Then you roll a d20. 1 through 9, you deal an additional 2 to each player, or 10 to 20, it deals 2 to each opponent. No, we're just not playing this. This card's bad. Creative Outburst. This one's actually okay. I don't mind this too much. Deals 5, lets you look at the top 5, put a card in your hand. You can discard it for a treasure. No issues with this one. Multiple choice, there's a bunch of words, it's bad, I'm just going to skip it. And Meteor Swarm is actually okay. You can split damage and deal 8, and it's pretty nice for some cheap 2 or 3 creature removal. Lands, we got 10 Island, 10 Mountain, 1 River Glide Pathway, 4 Volatile Fjord. This was hard to work with, because there's not a lot of good wizards, but let's go ahead and take a look at the final list and see where we ended up. And if I'm being real, y'all, this is one of those deck lists, I feel good that we even got to something playable. Like, this took a while. This was kind of a group effort on stream a couple nights ago, and I'll be honest, this whole process has been pretty fun, kind of going through and seeing like how many rares we can put in to make decks playable and still keep the decks cheap to build. But this one just wasn't fun. If you like this style of deck, I hope this appeases you. I hope this is what you need. But this process for this was very, very difficult. We kept the 2 Into the Royals. We added an Expressive Iteration. We kept the 2 Kazas. We went ahead and went up to a 4th Pledge Made because, again, there's not a lot of cheap wizards to play. So we went ahead and did that. We went up an additional one on the Demon Bolt. And we cut the other burn spell because this was just instant speed and just better in a lot of cases. We kept the Eggers. We went up to Prismari Command. So this is where 3 of those rares went for this list. We added an additional Umara Mystic, so we played one there. We added Torrent Sculptor. This is one that's a double face card, so the backside lets you discard a card, then draw a card. The card you discard, if it was instant or sorcery, you get to deal that much damage to a creature or planeswalker. Torrent Sculptor comes into play. It's a 2/2 for 4 mana, so that's not great, but you get to exile an instant or sorcery from a graveyard, and then it gets half that many counters rounded up. So you get, usually it's going to be like a 4/4-ish or bigger, so that's pretty nice. And it has Ward 2, so it's hard to kill. So this actually gives the deck a little bit extra play, so I was good with that. Basalt Ravager, also, it's a wizard, by the way. Basalt Ravager, again, we were talking about that. We kept it at 3. We did add 2 Cyclone Summoners, which are really cool because it bounces everything but your stuff because it doesn't bounce wizards or giants. So that's pretty neat. A good late game card. And then Creative Outburst, we went ahead up to 3 of those. So we did add the Torrent Sculptor, which was 2, so that's 5, and then 2 Cyclone Summoners, so that takes us up to 7 rares we added to the list. We did cut a land, so we're down to just 9 islands, 10 mountains, 1 river glide pathway, 4 fjords. And honestly, it just doesn't feel like there's a bunch of wiggle room here. If we're trying to do the wizard thing, I think this is close to what we could do. Creative Outburst does allow us some late game action. It does work well too if you discard this to get a treasure, and you get to cast a Sculptor, so you get to turn this into like a 6/6, which is great. Also, you have the ability that between the Outburst and the Prismari Command, you can make enough treasure to make it a little bit cheaper and easier for you to cast the Cyclone Summoner. So it gives you some outs for the late game. Again, if you like this stuff, leave me a comment, let me know. Remember to like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Support my content, because man, this was the type of thing we had to work really hard on. But that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.